returns to the starting 11, the Shabab Al-Ahli striker. He started the opening win over Kyrgyzstan, dropped out for that UAE match. It's UAE here at home on Tuesday for Uzbekistan. Iran go to Dubai to face Qatar. These demanding double headers mean that the full extent of the squad is utilised. It's a flashpoint match, it's a huge match here in Group A of AFC World Cup qualifying round 3, the rounds that produces direct qualifiers for the FIFA World Cup finals. Away we go. It's Uzbekistan against Iran. Just 3 teams have 100% records from their first 2 matches in round 3 of World Cup qualifying, and 2 of them are meeting here tonight at the MIlliy Stadium. The other, Japan, face Saudi Arabia in Jeddah in Group C later. But it's all eyes on Group A here for the White Wolves versus Team MIlliy. Qatar versus Kyrgyzstan and UAE North Korea. Today's other fixtures in Group A kick off a little later. Clever money is on these 2 going through. There's an early opportunity for a shot there for Mohammadi of Rostov in Russia. And Iran getting a couple of shots away inside the opening 60 seconds here. Don't be telling which colour Uzbekistan, nicknamed the White Wolves, are playing in. Team MIlliy are an established international team now. They are used to qualifying for World Cups, have been to 6 World Cups. The last 3, 4 of the last 6 since first qualifying in 1978, and getting a famous draw against Scotland in those Argentina World Cup finals. Uzbekistan have failed to qualify for the World Cup from 7 attempts, but which really does look like their time to make the finals. The expanded World Cup finals as well. 48 teams will be in North America in the summer of 2026. 8.5 slots available to Asian teams, so 8 direct qualifiers. Perhaps another one to come through the Byzantine playoff system, but of course you don't want to be relying on that. It's all about getting one of these top 2 positions in the 3 third-round groups, or indeed winning the 4th round group. There's going to be another layer of group matches after this for those that don't make it through. Try and get it done and dusted at the first time of asking. That will be the demand here of the 2 coaches, Sreko Katanic and Amir Galinawi. By the way, Sreko Katanic is not on the bench tonight for Uzbekistan. He's missing this match with illness. So assistant coaches Alice Shea and Vlado Radamanovic in charge of team matters today and against the UAE next week. Iran have made a reasonable start here, plenty of possession. Ezatolahi and Mehedi in that midfield this morning with Ghoddos and Jahanbakhsh playing a little further forward, played in towards the general direction there of Mehdi Taremi. And Shomurodov looks for the early touch, the Roma player. A brief appearance in the 2022 Europa League final against Shomurodov. Beat to final by a goal to 0. Started a match this season, unlike Taremi, who's started one and come off the bench 5 times. including for the last half an hour in the Inter's win over Torino at the weekend. To claim of Yusupov, one of the Iran-based contingent. So Sreko Katanec, who is the head coach, just past 3 years in the job, he's had some lengthy connections with Vlado Radamanovic as his assistant. As far as the Iranians are concerned, now Galinuri has a really good record. As coach of Iran, his second stint. He played through there to Mehdi Taremi, who has pace and he is a tricky striker. He's the leading scorer in this squad. Well, I can promise you that is Amir Galinuri won 20 of his 25 matches, not just once in normal time. In his stint, second stint as coach. First was back in 06-07. Replaced Carlos Queiroz in April 2023, after underwhelming display at the Qatar World Cup at the back end of 2022. Hardani playing on the right of the back four. Sepahan, Saleh Hardani, Mohammadi, Fulan and Khalilzadeh is the centre-half partnership. Looking to use Jahanbakhsh, and runner was Mohammadi a little bit further forward there on the right there for the Iranians. This is the captain, Alidzhanov, Jahanbakhsh, 31, 86 caps. Going behind Mehdi Taremi, lead the way. Serdar Azmoun as well on 85 caps, 53 goals as well, the Shabab Al-Ahli striker. Hardani there, throw. It's a looper, straightforward enough for Yusupov. Nice contact of Khalilzadeh, who's one of the first names on the team sheet at the back. Sinani able to play tonight. Iran have set their stall out here, enjoying all the early possession. 5, that's Milad Mohammadi plus Polis, teammate of Oston Urunov, the Uzbekistani striker. It's a little bit loose. Shomurodov might be in there. No. It's the first touch for otherwise a Beiranvand. Winning his 74th cap tonight. Worked on by Mohammadi. There's a nice fluency about the Iranians early doors here. Azmoun, but runs into too much traffic. Useful player, Serdar Azmoun. He settled in really quickly at Shabab Al-Ahli Emirati club. The 29-year-old. He's played in Russia, Zenit, on loan at Roma. Moved to the UAE Pro League. €5 million signing. It's Mohammadi of Rostov. So they all know Fazuliev well. Cisco Moscow, Fazuliev, there he is. Vasek Fazuliev, one of the newcomers here. Alidzhanov has lost his place on the bench tonight. Alidzhanov, strength and depth at most departments out there on the pitch for Uzbekistan. That's what they need. Competitiveness here for a starting place. Needed Alikulov. Shukurov. Nice little ball through. Sean Evans gave that a look. He was nicely positioned there, the referee. The wide player, Shukurov, gets nothing for that. Well, he's determined to make the most of it, isn't he? The ball just funneled through on that left-hand side. They effectively switched it there. The Iranians had cover down the left-hand side, so it came to the opposite flank. Let's have a look. The referee had a very good view of it. Contact leverage. There's a cheeky little look up there at the referee as well, isn't there? Right decision, no penalty. And many a referee would call that simulation, which some say was worthy of a yellow card. But hey ho, on we go. Deflection on the way through from the shot from Alikulov. So it's taken 10 minutes, but Uzbekistan just beginning to announce their presence a little here. All around in the opening stages. But we're goalless. These two were in the group in the previous round as well. They finished level on points together. Drew 2-2 in Tashkent last November, 0-0 at the Azadi in June. A little flick round the corner, and Shomurodov feeding off the back there of Khalilzadeh. Couldn't get on that little flick there. Fazulio's an interesting player because normally starts as the right-sided wing-back, but he can motor around. A really dangerous little player. That's why tonight's so interesting, because these two are extremely well matched. Say about the Iranians is they are solid. It's a terrific run under Amir Kanaani. Current coach, the most successful coach in the history of the Iranian top flight, with his 5 titles. So a little bit loose there from Mohammadi. Bit of a tangle, and interesting this, hard-working centre-half who gets his chance tonight. Only just moved from Persepolis to Fulad. Start to the season with them. A 2-time Persian Gulf Pro League winner. Late bloomer at 28. Masharipov here with the corner. Chance here. No, the Iranians deal with it. Maybe gets it clear. Mohammadi from Persepolis. From deep, 2 runners as well. Well, Azmoun, Ghoddos and Taremi between them. They're going to look to give the likes of Ezatolahi and Mohammadi options. And Iran can move the ball forward at pace through midfield. Target that time, Sadar Azmoun. Short, almost a hospital ball there for Milad Mohammadi. He's done well. So back to Mohammadi. There's the layoff from Ezatolahi. A little bit of tricksiness here from the Iranians. Called on Shukurov. Yeah, it was very clumsy, wasn't it, from Khamrobekov. The ball there. NFL style takeout. So options with the free kick as well. Saman Ghoddos, Vitiyat Kalbe. His favourite here. Swinger, a little bit too high there for Mehdi Taremi. Yeah. See what Saman Ghoddos was trying. Again, there's a lot of potential there with the Ghoddos, wrong side of 30 now, but 54 caps, just the 3 goals for Saman Ghoddos. In and out of the team, not the nailed-on starter anymore. Play this a little bit too high, disappointing there for Mehdi Taremi. Free kick comes the other way. Tennis, Jalaliddin Masharipov started both of the qualifiers. Nation Cup team of the tournament. Masharipov. Look down there into Shomurodov. Not much change yet out of Khalilzadeh and Nemati. Mohammadi did well initially. Mohammadi. Good start thus far, Mohammadi. Khalilzadeh. Certainly the more content of the two teams thus far, you would suspect. Six teams make the World Cup finals from this round, the 3 groups. Top 2 in those 3 groups progress directly. Teams that finish 3rd and 4th in these 3rd round groups will be funneled into 2 further 3-team groups. Those 2 group winners will also qualify for the FIFA World Cup finals, and then the 2 runners-up in those groups will then play off over 2 legs to produce a team that will join one each from Africa, South America, CONCACAF, OFC, and the Inter-Confederation playoffs. It's based on FIFA rankings. Get to the back end of next year. How those fixtures will pan out. Who gets to play home and away, and who gets to play fewer matches. It's basically a single team elimination tournament. One winner will also qualify. So it could be the team from Asia. to from anywhere else in the world. First booking, and it's for Faruk Safiev of Navbahor. He's the centre half who's come in tonight for the start, in the middle of the back. Eshmuradov, Senegal player, is the player who's dropped out tonight. Really second squad, they've got a core of the players as well. Played in Qatar late spring at the Asian Under-23 finals. Finished runners up there to Japan, which enabled them to qualify for the Olympics. Building, Hardani, the overload player there. Foul by Nasrulloev. Well, if you didn't know better, you'd be hard pushed to tell who the home team were on the evidence of the first 20 and a bit minutes here. So a little bit late to show us up Nasrulloev. Winning through kicks in dangerous positions. Ghoddos. Kick out ready to Taremi with a previous delivery. Do here. It's a better ball right into the mixer. Uzbekistan scratching and scrambling and sort of able to clear. There's been a clash of heads in amidst it all. Yeah, we definitely need treatment here, don't we? That's Ashurmatov. Looks to be out cold. Clash of heads. A couple of high boots flying around. He might have caught a stray stud there. All very busy, wasn't it? Shomurodov wearing 5. So not from that initial incident. There's a whole pack of players just misjudged the flight of that ball. That's where he gets his knock, isn't it? That was really painful. Ashurmatov really receiving a bit of treatment here. Much for Shomurodov to feed off yet. But there's been plenty to enjoy thus far. Here at the MIlliy Stadium, home of Bunyod Court. Giants, Tactical, Navbahor, Nasser, FJMK are the leading teams. Of course, those close ties with Iran, which means that you have Urunov and Masharipov. They're playing over the border, the goalkeeper up here, Yusupov. Squad playing in Turkey, in the UAE, and all 11 home-based players in the Uzbekistani party. The next best nation represented is Iran, 3 to play in Russia, 2 in Turkey. Well, so far so good for the debutant there, Ali Nemati. goals coming out on top of a 5-goal thriller during their most recent fixture, that Kyrgyzstan match. Shukurov, Alikulov, Urunov, target there. Ashurmatov has been patched up, he's okay to continue. Team MIlliy got the narrow win over the UAE. Ghayedi got the winner in that match, the Etihad Calder player. He's on the bench tonight. Uzbekistan match for 2-1 down. Kyrgyzstan match, but did what was required. Taremi's touch let him down a bit there. Nasrulloev. Sofiev. Fazulia. Reduced hitting the ball long. The actual play into Iranian hands. That's well played. Nasrulloev. Chance to run at them. The ball came in behind Shomurodov. And break for Masharipov. Nasrulloev recycles it effectively. That's Shukurov. Again, they have good movement here with Ezatolahi. Pass was maybe a bit heavy. Two in the box, but Shomurodov wasn't one of them. This is Khamrobekov. Might be a layoff opportunity here. A couple of times they've had players tumbling. But looking at the referee. Now, Iran trying to put some passes together. So into Azmoun, who's effectively challenged there. That was important there. Ashurmatov. Khamrobekov. Shomurodov, drop of the shoulder, drops for Shukurov. It's a big Shukurov, waits for support. Masharipov. Offside flag, stops him in his tracks. That's Ezatolahi from Al-Ahli. Popular destination, the Emirati club for players from these two nations. Centre of that incident as far as Iran were concerned. There it goes. Just tumbling away, didn't he? Khamrobekov there. Uzbekistan haven't actually lost a match in normal time since a friendly with the USA in September 2023. Timothy Weah, Ricardo Pepi, Christian Pulisic on target for the USA, for Greg Berhalter's Stars and Stripes team in St. Louis, Missouri. Cross was decent, and the header back across from Masharipov. Might have expected really someone to gamble on a layoff there. Jalaluddin Masharipov. 3-on-2 briefly. Now then, how about that for a challenge? It's going to be another yellow card for an Uzbekistani here. Khamrobekov was last player back. To stretching in. That was a really dangerous situation they were up against there, Uzbekistan. 3-on-2. Again, Iran have a free kick here, bearing down on goal. Yeah, gonna have zero complaints there. That's a yellow card offence. Joining Sofio in the notebook of Sean Evans. Looks like he hasn't been fully patched up here, Ashurmatov. He's being told to get a little bit more covering on that wound just above the left eye there. So he'll be short-handed defending this set piece by the looks of things here. It nicely, but Uzbekistan read it all the way. The chance here with Taremi, well dealt with, just enough there from the defender. Bit of hesitancy before they heard that whistle. Shukurov, Masharipov. Well, Sean Evans says play on. Masharipov looking to leverage that contact. He's stayed down here. Now Ezatolahi is taking a tumble. And just on the verge of becoming punctuated by one too many stoppages and questionable stoppages. Right now this match, it was Jalaluddin Masharipov there. Let's have a look at the challenge. It's an honest challenge, isn't it, from Nemati? Gets the ball. And the problem is when the action is slowed down and you see the player sort of just miss a couple of beats before deciding to decide that he's hurt. Doesn't get a look across. For that, so then decide to go with the injury. Anyway, play resumes here. We are 11 minutes from half-time here in Tashkent. There's no score between Uzbekistan and Iran. Mohammadi. He's got a lot to do here. 2-on-1 situation. Well played, Mehdi Mohammadi. Look out, the onrushing Mehebi there. All the way back to Beiranvand. The undoubted leaders of the squad now, the World Cup 2022 keeper. Nemati, solid enough on his debut thus far, alongside Khalilzadeh at the back there for Iran. Too much Taremi yet, have we? Likewise, Shomurodov, Serie A strikers. Certainly Taremi has had a better start to Serie A season with Inter than Shomurodov with Roma, down in 10th place, been off the bench 4 times. So Shomurodov doing just the 5 minutes at the weekend against Monza. To a second. Well, after all that delay, I would have expected Beiranvand just to be a little bit more productive with his distribution there. In a performance like this, you can see why they're sort of a steady, reliable team these days around. A pair of 1-0 wins in their first 2 qualifiers. Taremi got the winner against the Kyrgyzstanis before Ghayedi's decisive goal against the UAE. They're supposed to play their next match at home, Mashhad, on Tuesday against Qatar, but security concerns have led to that match being switched to Dubai. Header there from Alikulov. Masharipov dropping deep. Shomurodov gives chase. Strong, solid, stoic thus far. Khalilzadeh and Nemati. And it's been frustrating for him. Well, there's no doubt that he is the talismanic striker. It's a breakthrough from Uzbekistan to be a leading player and a leading Serie A club. He actually joined Roma in 21-22, did Shomurodov. All in all, 4 goals in 38 appearances for them. 4 years. He's been out on loan to Spezia and Cagliari. Started out with Genoa in 2020. 8 goals for them in 16 matches after 4 years with Rostov. His career here at the MIlliy Stadium with Urunov 2015. 29 now. Shomurodov. And the ball doesn't break for him there. It'll Shomurodov. Effectively stifling and suffocating possession. The Roma striker. The Iranians. Mohammadi really could run this. Players up in support as well. It wouldn't quite break for Jahanbakhsh. Hardani forward. Ghoddos. There's the cross, just not enough elevation on it. Won't break for Mohammadi again. But Iran digging in. That's well played, Mohammadi. Alidzhanov, Jahanbakhsh. Well, this will suit the Iranians right down to the ground, you have to say. To Beiranvand again. But Iran have had 4 shots, one of them on target. Just a single attempt on target for the home team. Deflected effort, wasn't it? Forced Beiranvand into kind of like a half save. Solidly officiated, I would say, thus far from Sean Evans, this one. Experienced official. AFC Champions League on that World Cup roster, the VAR official in the Qatar 2022 World Cup finals. He's been a regular in Asian Zone World Cup qualifying, also refereed in the Chinese Super League as well as his A-League commitments at home in Australia. Again, it's a fluency about Simon Ghoddos moving forward. Draws that foul from Faruk Sofiev, who has been booked. Sofiev. But he gets his start for Eshmuradov tonight. It's the case of him only coming on briefly towards the end of the North Korea match. Missed out against Kyrgyzstan. Milad Mohammadi here has responsibility for this free kick. And leaves it, in fact. The delivery again is not terribly good, in truth, is it? From Azmoun. Moved up quickly towards Nasrulloev, but he's dealt with no problems whatsoever by Saleh Hardani. Iran 62% possession in the first half here. Nasrulloev, Shomurodov, Ezatolahi back there. Just able to work it clear. He knew he was going to take one for the team there. And Sean Evans just content to let play roll on. No advantage was forthcoming there for the Iranians. Ezatolahi trying to just force that pass up to Alidzhanov. Jahanbakhsh. Nothing doing. Well, that was the second of the free kicks. Ghoddos has just tried to ping up and tried to involve Taremi at the far post. No cutting edge from either side, certainly tonight, but perhaps of a problem for Iran, given forward movements, and the build-up play has been okay. But Taremi has largely been a spectator as far as Shomurodov is concerned. He's gone hunting for the ball. He hasn't had any joy whatsoever out of Khalilzadeh and Nemati. That's a decent cross, though, into the general airspace of Safiev, and it needed defending. Just touched behind there by Milad Mohammadi. As Uzbekistan go direct here at the end of the first half. Well, Mohammadi was aware there of Farid Safiev, just steaming in behind him. There's going to be 4 extra minutes here. There's the corner. Okay, good defensive header, but it's going to be Khamrobekov on the retrieval here. A clever little ball as well into Shukurov. This is the way they try their little movements and just try and weave their way through. And there's the looping flick. Shomurodov there. Alikulov has taken the tumble. You've already seen Ashurmatov needing to be patched up quite literally with that plaster above his eye, the clash of heads at the other end. Certainly can't say that this isn't a full-blooded encounter. Doesn't it, Alikulov? Injury on top of the one that means that he has to wear the face mask for this one. He did take that injury in the weekend win over in Talispor. Actually scored in that match, wasn't it, in Alikulov? 3 goals from 7 starts, not bad. Centre half. An injury in injury time at the end of the first 45 minutes here in Tashkent. He's done okay as well, hasn't he, Mehebi? One of these 3 changes to the Iranian team from last month's double-header. Mohammadi with the header. Masharipov there. Not the tallest down on the pitch by any stretch of the imagination. Shomurodov tries to get that foot in. Uzbekistan managing to win it back, but it's all too congested. Khamrobekov is dispossessed, and he ran with a breakaway opportunity, not quite. And that will be more or less that for the first half here. Yeah, they're just not the tallest team all round. Uzbekistan, they're more technical and like to play the ball on the floor. But Iran have effectively stifled them thus far. They've got a left-sided overlapper. That pass is too heavy from Khamrobekov, and largely sums up their attacking display, Uzbekistan so far. Struggling for any kind of incision going forward. Shomurodov barely serviced at all in the first half. Alidzhanov started the first two third-round qualifiers against North Korea and Kyrgyzstan off the bench at half-time. So the right-sided wing-back normally, so comes in for the second half here. It's fair to say that Uzbekistan were stifled. It was a largely turgid display here in the first half from Eldor Shomurodov's team. Struggling to break down the Iranians, I think, would be something of an understatement here. By the looks of things, it's Ferik Safiev who's been withdrawn. Yeah, the player who's brought in for the drop was Eshmuradov. You would have really suspected that Alidzhanov would have started this one, but here he is for the second half in Tashkent. It's FIFA World Cup qualifying, third round of qualifying matches for the teams hopeful of making it through. Can't put anything between these Central Asian rivals and such closely matched teams. Alidzhanov then from Paktakor comes in, the team that is representing Uzbekistan in the new AFC Champions League elite this season. They've already had a match with the Iranian champions Persepolis, 1-1, two matches into the expanded round-robin group phase format for the top Asian teams. Neither Persepolis, Esteghlal, the Iranian representatives, nor Paktakor, the single Uzbekistani team, have much of an impact yet. 1-1 draw between Paktakor and Persepolis. Paktakor have also been beaten by Al-Wadi. Persepolis lost to Al-Ahli. Esteghlal at least beat Al-Kharafa, beaten by Al-Sad. After next is the next round of the qualifiers in the club competition. Persepolis go to Qatar again. Esteghlal home to Al Nasser. Paktakor home to Al Shorta, the Iraqi champions. Jahanbakhsh does well to feed it out wide here to Salih Hardani. And Hardani pulls the ball across, and Uzbekistan able to just about survive. Attempt at the cross, thrashed away on the near post, went only as far as the Russian side. Ezatolahi there. Iran started really strong in this one and determined to pick it up at the start of the second half as well. Finished with over 62% possession. Should dribble through to Beiranvand. And all in all, in the first half, 5 shots the Iranians to 3 from Uzbekistan, just 1 on target at either end. Just feel that Iran are a touch slicker. Perhaps don't need to commit tonight in the away match as much as we're probably expecting the Uzbekistanis to do. The old line about winning your home matches and then worrying about the others. A useful little cross just flicked in there. Jahanbakhsh looking for Mohammadi, who was the furthest forward. Again, that far side ball. Quite break. Yeah, needed defending. Alidzhanov, his first involvement. Out for the corner. Saman Ghoddos here. He's going to take it for Iran. Yusupov. That's not to try and claim it. Doesn't hurt them. First corner of the second half there for Iran. First corner of the match, that coming within the first 5 minutes, the second half here. Tiny ball there to Faizulliev. Good feint. Good block as well there from Ezatolahi. Not going to do anything with deliveries like that from the right hand side from Khamrobekov, from Navbahor. Uzbekistan, who's under 23 team, qualified for the Olympics for the first time this summer in Paris. Got the runners-up finish in the under 23 Asian qualifiers, in the 23 Asian Cup basically in Qatar back in May. Beaten by Spain and Egypt once they got to the Paris finals, drew with Dominican Republic. But first things first, at first qualification just contributes to burgeoning scene here. Uzbekistan hosted the futsal, the indoor, the five-a-side FIFA World Cup. Only just finished that last week. Brazil were crowned champions. The tournament was based in cities all over the country here in Uzbekistan. Bukhara and Samarkand. A way of getting new visitors to this fascinating and beautiful country, a land of mosques and minarets on the Silk Road. And it would be Silk Road all the way to glory, wouldn't it, if Uzbekistan can make it to the World Cup finals. These two nations are drawn together in the second round of qualifying, also beat Turkmenistan and Hong Kong home and away. The Asian Cup back in January and February, both of these teams were eliminated by the eventual winners Qatar. To World Cup qualifying now, it seems that these two are poised to have the edge over the Qataris. We play Kyrgyzstan, a match that kicks off in 45 minutes time. Alikulov, away by Nemati. Nasrulloev. Kuzanov. Useful pass, which straight offside. It's disappointing, isn't it? Faizulliev failing to read that line effectively. The CSKA Moscow player. He's got his chance tonight. He was off the bench, wasn't a starter against the North Koreans nor the Kyrgyzstanis. These are the first matches. I honestly say he's had too much impact tonight. Mehabi dispossessed. Again, showing their presence in the midfield. Jahanbakhsh equally well dealt with by Shukurov. Done well tonight, I think, Sean Evans. The give and go, Shomurodov. Can't play it through there to Masharipov. And goes for that second ball. Shomurodov gets nothing. The challenge came in from Hardani. Once again, it seems the player who doesn't get the decision is determined to stay down. Sean Evans Yeah, pretty brutal in ignoring him. Latest foul is on Jahanbakhsh. Unattached at the moment after the foul from Shomurodov. He does have a bit of a case there, doesn't he? Because that is very high.
Substitution for
Leg from Hardani.
Player number 8, Mohammadi, being replaced by player number 10, Ghayedi. Eron Islom Respublikasi terma jamoasi tarkibida o'zgarish. 8-chi raqamda harakat.
Well, I'm not surprised here this is going to VAR, because that was not a good challenge. He's coming over to have a look here. So Hardani, you suspect, will be a nervous character right now. We'll slow it down and take a look, and we see that that was not a good challenge at all from the Fulhad defender. It's an important part of Fulhad's surge up the table. It's only his 8th cap tonight, Hardani. And Sean Evans, yeah, deep in conversation. Alex King and Casey Reibelt are the VAR officials tucked away in the stadium here in the cabin. What's the decision? It's a red card for the Iranian right-back Hardani. Big boost this for Uzbekistan, in truth struggling tonight. And now, for what, 35 minutes, it's going to be more with stoppages. It'll be 11 against 10. Well, justice has been served in due course there. It took a while, it took a video review. It was a high challenge from Hardani. It was a terrible challenge, and the correct decision has been reached. A foot up, just with the studs exposed like that. And if it gets spotted, it's going to be punished. So Hardani's had a fantastic start to the season. He's red carded. Now then, this is the impetus perhaps that Uzbekistan need. It's played in by Masharipov. No immediate reward. Jahanbakhsh is going to work it clear. And the counter-attack was on. So Mohammadi is off, and Ghayedi comes in, the scorer of the winning goal against the UAE last time around. Mehdi Ghayedi of Ittihad Kalba, who is from the Emirates in terms of his club representation. Now then, how does Kanaani respond here? Is it a case of battening down the hatches? A long way to try and hold out with the 10 men. So it is Ezatolahi with the ball in hand. Yeah, it's going to be on Sean Evans to try and hurry the Iranians up, I suspect, here. Ashurmatov. Surely to see far more positivity now from the Uzbekistanis. Jalaluddin Masharipov. For Shukurov. Alikulov well forward. And Faziliev gets involved. Crossing towards Shomurodov. Service for him has not been on point, though, in truth. And the foul comes in from Uzbekistan. Big showpiece name, and the Serie A striker, the one with a big profile, Taremi, is more or less anonymous tonight, tucking back behind Sardar Azmoun, doing his bit for the team, at least. Ramir Galinoy's team, most successful coach in the history of the Iranian Pro League, 3 titles with Istiklal, this as a coach, and 2 with Sepahan. 20 caps and a goal in his playing days in the 90s. Khalilzadeh. Seems that Samin Ghoddos has dropped all the way here to the sort of right-sided defensive position. Used in any of those 4 positions across the midfield. More attack-wise as Uzbekistan, with Faizulliev come close to the opening goal. It's driven just wide by Abisbek Faizulliev. A shot, some positivity at last here from the home team. Could be a portent of things to come as well, with the Iranians looking increasingly stretched. I mean, he's gone for the shot early here, he's just pulled it a little bit. 4 goals for Abisbek Faizulliev in 19 previous appearances for Uzbekistan. Not a proper shot on target to test Alireza Beiranvand yet. But surely they have to come here in the last half an hour in Tashkent. Uzbekistan 0, 10-man Iran 0. Masharipov. Here's Nasrulloev. There's the little layoff, and there's the shot over the top from Jaloliddin Masharipov. He knows it was a terrific opening. And he couldn't have complained either about the tee-up from Shomurodov there. Has to be hitting the target, at least from there. Jaloliddin Masharipov. 66 cap veteran. It's not a good finish, is it? It'll be Iranian club contingent from Istiklal. Masharipov. Well, he has to be hitting the target there. He really does. Hasn't scored for Istiklal this season. His only goal this season came early doors in the North Korea match. The winner there. Part of their Asian Cup team. Still penalties to Qatar in the quarter-final. Wonderful chance, just get an effort on the target, build it up step by step, and at the same time be wary of Iran, because they may be undermanned, but there's still a threat coming forward. Second phase as well, as Taremi Just tries to reset them, unable to do so. Free kick goes Iran's way. Masharipov there on Taremi. High foot up there. And the ball through. Ghayedi, can he find Taremi? Little bit of space, went for the tumble. Gets nothing. Well, had the chance even gone away from him there before he decided to drop to the floor? I'm sure we'll see it again. Now then, that is Shomurodov wrestled to the floor. And he's beginning to cause more and more problems here. Uzbekistan's Serie A striker. He brings another booking, and rightfully so as well, in truth, for Ghoddos. So that's another yellow card for Ghoddos. Booked already against the United Arab Emirates, and he can have few complaints again. He knew that his opposite number quite literally was getting past him, and that's just taking the hit for the team there. So he'll miss the Qatar match on Tuesday in Dubai. Ghoddos. Nasrulloev, it's up and over the top. Well, again, the Beiranvand, a spectator. The finishing of Uzbekistan tonight has not been good, and it may end up costing them. I mean, okay, that's where you sort of expect, I suppose, a little bit less than from open play. But even so, everything's going up and over the top of Beiranvand's crossbar. I wonder if more attacking changes in the offing as well, because they've got Urunov to come in as well if need be. They'll really go for it. Ghayedi. The movement from Iran. Pass forward gains a little bit of territory, if nothing else. Taremi. Alidzhanov with that intervention. Is Jahanbakhsh, the captain. Really important goals he scored in the Asian Cup. Penalty against the Qataris in the semi-final, and dramatic penalty winner in the previous round, the quarter-final, to knock out the Japanese 6 minutes into stoppages. So many white shirts ready to pick up that situation there for Uzbekistan. It's going to be the way, isn't it? It needs to be absolutely on point here. They need a precise counter-attack. They need a precise free kick, set piece, something like that, the Iranians. Because from here on in, a point becomes a massive win. Down to 10 men because of the red card for dangerous play. Shown to Salih Hardani. Trying that 1-2. So this is Asmoon. Well Shackle. Touch on from Shomurodov is just a touch too heavy. So we're going to see Urunov now. Yeah, for Ziliev. It worked hard, but hasn't quite broken for him, has it? So no huge surprises to see Urunov from Persepolis come in. Is Nasrulloev. Masharipov again. Shackled. Second ball, one, going to be important in this. It's Uzbekistan who have it. It's Jalaluddin Masharipov again. Although Shomurodov tries to work it again. Just not coming off, is it? But it's threatening something here, at least. Uzbekistan. Another player has taken a tumble. Alidzhanov in this instance. And we need a medical team intervention, it seems. Or do we? Alidzhanov, the half-time change. Well, this is what happened. It's just a racing incident, isn't it? As Mehdi Taremi gets back. So there's Taremi. There's the elbow. Again, is there too much wrong with that? Already fallen foul of a VAR decision, the Iranians, but currently clinging on. We still have a quarter of an hour to go here in Tashkent. It's 0-0. FIFA World Cup qualifying, Asian zone, round 3. Around 3-time Asian Cup winners, won it back-to-back, 1968, 1972, 1976. They've not made a final since. 6 semi-finals, but lost them all, including the last 2 editions. Four times they've won the Asian Games, but not since 2002. Free kick, Uzbekistan behind it. Ashurmatov there needs a little bit of extra protection for that cut above his eye. So we're seeing more changes. That's Azmoun being taken off, the player coming in. He's wearing 19 on his back. It's Sharia Maganlu. It's a more or less straight switch there up front. Maganlu from Ittihad Kalba. The bench against Kyrgyzstan. Jahanbakhsh is replaced as well. Khalilzadeh comes on as well. Khalilzadeh from Lech Poznan in Poland. So off the bench against UAE, off the bench here. Started the group, Ali Khalilzadeh against the Kyrgyzstanis. Fresh legs absolutely required now. And that didn't look like the best challenge from Ashurmatov, in fairness. Ezatolahi made that break. It's a bit clumsy, that. Wasn't exactly. International goals, Alikulov, but going some to try and beat Beiranvand. Kyrgyzstan kicks off in 10 minutes time. All kicked up. They're going to scream for handball. One VAR decision has bailed them out. Again, Sean Evans gives nothing at first glance. Uzbekistan is furious, want this win. So here's the moment, there's the cross. They're only half away. It's bounced up, kicked up there against Alidzhanov. It's into his midriff, isn't it? Now then. Third straight draw between these two. Incoming, it seems, unless there is to be late drama. They'll meet again at the Azadi Stadium in Tehran in March in the return fixture. We will have 8 minutes for someone to be a hero. Just got one more double header before those back-to-back matches in March, which sees the return fixture. Oof, almost kicked up there against Ashurmatov. He's given a penalty. Oh, this is drama here at the end in Tashkent. It was an awkward one, really. The ball is kicked up against the arm there of Ruslan Ashurmatov. And Sean Evans had absolutely no hesitation. Right at the end here. Well, the captain, the normal penalty taker, Alireza Jahanbakhsh, has been taken off, so you would suspect it will be Mehdi Taremi here. They will take over those penalty duties. We're going to VAR, it seems. This was the incident. So there's the defensive header to begin with. Oof. Well, it clearly strikes his arm. It's Khalilzadeh who is charging down. Now then, this will reopen the debate, won't it? Was it deliberate? Does that even matter? I mean, that right arm, you can see just at the moment before it strikes his arm, it's down by his side. But again, the natural movement, I mean, he has opened out and extended his body shape, in fairness, hasn't he? Okay, so it's going to be Ghayedi, not Mehdi Taremi here, the Ittihad's Kalba player. With a couple of goals in the Asian Cup. Back at the start of the year, it seems now that he's being called over to the monitor again. It's another flashpoint after the sending off earlier of Saleh Hardani. He's had a look and he's decided that it's pretty much accidental, effectively. Clearly the ball does strike the arm of Rustam Ashurmatov, but that's the biggest cheer of the night from the MIlliy Stadium crowd. I mean, if Iran, naturally you're gutted, because the instinct of the decision there from Sean Evans was to give the penalty. He's had a look at the tape, he's decided that it's too harsh on Rustam Ashurmatov. Ball to hand, not accidental, hasn't extended and sort of made the body shape bigger. And that means, well, it means more stoppages, doesn't it, for a start? It means no penalty, it means absolute frustration, but it means unconfined relief for the team who have 11 players out on the pitch because they were about to be burgled by the 10 men right at the death. Does it give them the extra energy needed to produce a winner of their own at the other end? That's nicely done. With the ball here, that's another booking. Third Uzbekistani to be booked tonight, Rustam Ashurmatov, incident filled match. That kick above the eye, that drew blood, had to have treatment for that. Thought he conceded a penalty, that was overturned, now he's been booked. That's why. Again, Khalilzadeh primed to make the most of the contact. Ghayedi denied the chance to take a penalty, but he takes that free kick and it draws the save ultimately from the header from Ezatolahi. Best attacking move at either end all night, and it's come 7 minutes into stoppages at the end. A really good delivery from the free kick from Mehdi Ghayedi. And it's a deft connection on the header as well. Ezatolahi got a goal after all at the end here. Only ever scored once in 71 appearances, including tonight. Ezatolahi, that would have been some moment. Really good, even when tested back end of the second half tonight by the Uzbekistanis. You have to to say you expected a little bit more from them attack-wise. There's the cross. Defensive header away. It's sat up for Alikulov. There's the potential here. Ghayedi, goalkeeper came, committed, it's dropping awkwardly. Not got it away. Ghayedi is going to find Khalilzadeh. No, that is a dramatic ending. But once again, Uzbekistan and Iran cannot be separated. They draw for the third straight time in AFC FIFA World Cup qualifying. But for sure, it's Kanaani.